discussed here will be pwede ninyong mabalikan. If ever mawala mo in the middle of our discussion, then namoy pwedeng balikan nga video. Sige. So thank you so much, no, Arbasa and Kubiko for that recapitulation. So again, for lesson 2.3 here, we will be discussing different types of theories and cognitive processes and understanding how our students learn, or perhaps you yourself can also reflect on how you learn. Okay, because since we're talking about our subject is all about facilitating learner-centered teaching, so we do not just have to understand the diversity of our student, but we also have to understand how do they think. So that for as teachers, if we talk about the how do they think, then perhaps, or how do they learn, then we can be guided, no, on saan na to pag-teach ang mga lessons na to ang i-discuss or ang mga contents sa to ang mga sa tong subject, especially sa inyo ha, as mathematics, wherein it's viewed as one of the hardest subject among all of the subjects. So perhaps the hardest jud siya nga subject, diba? So no need for us to discuss or to on this learning outcomes. So anyways, it will be present. It was already presented naman last meeting. So here again we present it and then you read na lang about our learning outcomes. Okay, so again, as a form of introduction, last meeting, diba, we discussed on how do we learn. Because if ever you'll reflect to yourself on how do you learn, and then you compare yourself to others, then you might say that you learn differently. But in terms of the view of learning, sa mga cognitive psychologists, they believe that learning is an internal process. So meaning, talk about internal process, kana bang when you receive information, you process it in your mind. So that's what we call internally processing the learning or the information. Because learning is not only about nga murag natin makita nga change sa behavior, because diba sometimes makaingon na nga na na-learn ang sa katawo if na changes yung behavior. But for cognitive psychologists, from the word cognitive, it's not all about that one, because they believe that learning is more on the process of receiving, receiving, storing, and retrieving information. Now, we also discussed the different types of knowledge. No? So we have, again, general versus specific, which means that the usability of the knowledge that you have learned or the information that you have learned, because sometimes we have this information na learn na pwedeng magamit in many tasks, which is general. Sometimes po na puting mga knowledge or mga information na naibawan that can only be applied to a specific situation. Diba? For example, using or learning how to brake or using brake. Diba? It's an information that can be general. Diba? Because whether if unsa pa ng mga different types of vehicle ang imuhang gamiton, diba, magamit mo ito ni mga understanding using o kanang sa paggamit of brake. No? Then napayuban na nalapod siya specific, no, na magamit mo ang kaning information in a specific situation. So that's what we call general versus specific. Next is we have declarative. So always remember, talk about declarative, this refers to factual knowledge. Okay, so example ani katong imong name, diba, address, because those are factual na mga information. Then there's your rhyme na inyong gina-memorize when you were elementary or kindergarten. The definition of information processing theory katong inyong na-recall. So na-recall ni Arbasa o ni Kubiko, those are example of declarative knowledge. Now, if you're going to focus on the process, the procedure, on doing things, then that is what we call procedural knowledge. So if you could remember sa ato ang i-discuss, no, na katuganing you're going to teach your students how to find least common denominator or LCD. So that is an example of procedural knowledge. Diba? So for example, another is in social studies, is I am an araling panipon teacher, I'm going to teach my students how do they read map, you know, finding the absolute location and the relative location. So that's an example of procedural knowledge. And then next, we also have episodic. So talk about episodic episode. This includes memories of life events. No? So at some point, pwede ba na ito siya matawag na milestones sa ato ang kinabuhi. No? Because those kinds, those milestones are important part of our life, no, na maka-remember ta every time na yung maka-trigger sa ato ang para maka-remember. Diba? For example, inyong nahimong graduation song kay The Climb. So every time makadbatik kag The Climb na song by Miley Cyrus, then you will be murag maka-remember ka sa imong past, sa imong graduation or sa imong life when you were elementary. So mo na itong itawag na episodic. So based siya sa mga memories of life events. And then we also have lastly conditional from the word based on the condition or based on the situation. So these types of knowledge, magdepende siya. If in any situation, then what are you going to do? So if you have remember, ato ako ning gi-associate sa word na if and then. So if in any ang hitabo, then mao ni ang imong buhaton. So that's what we call conditional type of knowledge. So give me thumbs up if I can already proceed and you do not have any question regarding the different types of knowledge. If you could recall na. Okay, so thank you very much. So now let's proceed on understanding again information processing theory. So sa kutong giingon ni Arbasa na information processing theory is a theory which compares our minds to computers. Okay? Because diba, for example, computers are created for us to be able to store a lot of data or information. So sa information processing theory, marag ilahapod associate ang mind nato in terms of the capacity, the duration of the information na ma-store. And then pwede ba nato siyang ma-retrieve when the time comes na we need na to retrieve the information. So again, based on the recapitulation na gihatag sa ato ni Arbasa na there are three primary stages or processes sa processing sa IPT. So these are encoding, storage, and retrieval. So talk about encoding, this is where information is being received and after receiving, you attend to it. Because after attending to it, then if depende if asa nimo siya ganahan ma-store, so kay naman tay different types of storage katong giingon ni Arbasa na short-term memory or working memory and then long-term memory. So then we also have retrieval no kunang from the word retrieve, if can we get back the information when the time comes that we need that information in a specific situation. So para masabtan nato ang process, no. So first we have the first hurdle, sensory register and attention. So everything na when we learn, no, or when we process information, it all starts with sensory register. So since our body has different types of senses, so mo na nga in terms of the information that we receive, it is huge. No, we feel a lot of things, diba? For example, inside the classroom, no, when we receive information, we receive a lot of information based on what we hear, what we see, no, what we smell, what we touch, what we feel. So all of those are being ma-register sa imong mga sensation. So and because of that, the capacity is huge. However, because there are a lot of different information that you receive, dili tanan information imuhang ma-process. Ano siyang it's fleeting. Okay? In terms of the duration, muukon na siya extremely brief ra kaayo na siya ma-store sa tang mind. Diba? Like 1 to 3 seconds lang. However, para ma-remember nato ang kaniyang mga information na atong na-receive, dapat makalusot siya sa ato ang gitawag na gate, which is our attention. Because diba, for example, karon that we are doing online video discussion. So everything that I am telling you are all information. However, all of this information, dili na to siya dili to makaingon na all of this information will be stored sa inyong short term or long term if dili siya maka-pass through sa inyong attention. Okay, because the attention is more siya gate. For example, this is the attention, the gate, di ba? Kaya if ever naidaghang mag-knock sa inyong gate, tapos dili siya para sa inyo interesting, di siya makakatch yung attention, then you will not open, di ba, the gate. But if makakatch siya sa inyong attention, then you will slowly open the gate, which allows information to pass through ngadto na siya sa mas sa mga memories or sa mga storage na pwede nimong ma-store ang information. Because we only store information that will pass through our attention. Diba? Because di man siguro maminaw or diba, some parts of the discussion will not be remembered if wala siya nakakatch sa inyong interest or attention. So that is the role of the attention. So muna, as future teachers, is important kaya dapat important thing nga dapat you make sure that your students are paying attention sa imuha para all of those teachings ni mohang isulod sa ilaha mo pass through. Okay, sa first hurdle. And then if ever mo pass through na siya, then dara na siya ma-store sa working memory or the short-term memory. So in terms of the capacity sa short-term memory, it's limited. Because again, isa tong discussion, it can only store chunks of information with a range of 7 plus minus 2. Okay, so 5 to 9 chunks of information lang nga to ang pwedeng ma-store. You already know naman what is chunk. Okay, so in terms of the duration, it's shorter, pero ang ganina, extremely short due to because it only is diba, mga 1 to 3 seconds. But for working space or for working memory or kaning short-term memory, it could span to at least 18 seconds. Okay? However, para ma-store nato ang kaniya mga information in the long term, there's a need for us to maintain rehearsal. We keep on repeating and repeating and repeating the information to keep it active. Okay, so that's the importance. So ganina, sa first hurdle, the importance is the role of attention. And then, sa short-term memory, para ma-store na pud siya sa long-term memory nga dita makalimot. Since 18 seconds naman siya ma-store sa mind. So we have to keep on repeating and repeating the information or maintain rehearsal para dili siya ma-forget. Ma-store siya sa other storage, which is long-term memory. So this is the ideal memory because the capacity is essentially unlimited and the duration can be permanent. So the goal of teaching is to get information accurately into the long-term memory. So mo jud na ang murag final goal sa mga different information na dapat na ato ang ma-receive na dapat ma-store siya sa long-term memory. Okay, now we also have here some factors that would affect the process of information processing theories. We have executive control processes. So these processes guide the flow of information through the system, which help the learner make informed decisions about how to categorize, organize, or interpret information. So you've already understand naman siguro na to talk about executive control processes. This refers to all of our senses, it would receive the different information. So after receiving the information, then it will be a guide for us on how are we going to categorize these senses or these stimuli na ito ang na-receive. Diba? For example, does it smell good? Does it smell bad? Because that's already categorizing, diba? Or how we organize or interpret information. And then after executive control processes, we also have the term forgetting. From the word forgetting, the inability to retrieve or access information when needed. Kaya makalimot ta. So we have two types or two main ways of forgetting. So we have decay and interference. So sa decay, mo na ang mahitabo if di na to ma-maintain ang rehearsal sa to short-term memory. Makalimot ta. So mo itong probably siguro nahitabo kay Alaw and kang Kim when I let them do the review. Diba? Because probably the information was stored sa ilang short-term memory and then wala na maintain ang rehearsal. Diba? Maunang na-decay, nalata. Bitaw. Or meaning wala na nila ma-retrieve ang information because all of the information that they have received during the day that we discussed, wala man na maintain ang rehearsal mo nang na decay, na forget, no? At sometimes pod, if ever ma-store siya sa long-term memory, napod gitawag na interference. So, marabag from the word interfere na ay mag-block sa atong access to the information. Na marabag, sometimes it happens to us na magkaiba mo ka sa answer. You already know na naman tumoy si mo handila, pero there is this something that is blocking you to say that word. Diba? So that's what we call interference. So now, we have here some tips on how can we be able to improve our memory and retrieval. So it's not just for for those na kanang kawani dali ra makalimot because lahi man pud nga factors nga dali ra jud makalimot kanang kalimtanon. So probably there must be some problems with genes, diba? Pwede man na siyang hereditary, or perhaps nutrition pod sa lawas. Okay? But in terms of the practices on how can we improve our memory and sense of retrieval sa mga information na itong na-store sa long-term memory, so we may be able to do these things. First is we have rehearsal. So kung dapat rehearsal, katong same lang gihapon siya na thought no sa katong working memory, we must keep on repeating and repeating the information in verbatim. So sa maning verbatim, kana bang through orally. So we can be able to do this either mentally or aloud, diba? So that is why if you're going to recall what you usually do when you were elementary or high school, diba? If kanang tuon mo, you always do this rehearsal thing. Diba? You always say the concepts aloud or perhaps mentally inyong balik-balikon. Diba? Talk about fraction, it has numerator and denominator. Again, talk about fraction, it has numerator and denominator. So inyong balik-balikan ng information. So that's what we call rehearsal. Next is we also have meaningful learning. Mas amata makaingon nga meaningful ang learning. When we are able to make connection to the new information with the prior knowledge. Okay, na example, you learned that that when you learned that when you were like a child, no? Let's have that as an example, like cat, diba? So you have already this prior information about cats nga naa siya upat ka tiil, na siya ikog, tapos gamay siya kaysa sa dog. Pero, when you've learned new information, nakaibaw ka nga, uy, naaday different types of cats. Ba? Na ay mga sphinx, na ay sa mga different types of cats, nga na po mga different types of color. So if you can be able to connect this new information, nga mga different types of cats, simuhang previous knowledge about cats, then you are making a meaningful learning. Okay, so next we also have organization. So how we connect various pieces of information. So if kanina, new information, connection to the previous information or prior knowledge, so organization, you have here mga different pieces of information and how are you going to organize or to arrange those information. Okay, next is elaboration. Adding additional ideas to new based on what one already knows. So for the word elaborate, we add additional ideas to the new information that we just have gathered. And the next is we also have visual imagery. So forming a picture of the information. So these are the ways on how can we be able to improve our memory and retrieval. So it's up to you as a learner to have metacognition. You already know naman what is metacognition, right? Sige, sagot to metacognition, Suarez.
It's about thinking, sir.
Okay, very good. Diba? Meaning, you're going to reflect your own way of thinking. So, muna nga kamo, metacognition pod mo karon if unsa man kaha ang mo best suit sa imuha in improving your memory and retrieval. Are you into meaningful learning ba? Or are you into sa meaningful learning is just all about making connections but marabag ma-apply nimo sa real world? Or are you into elaboration? Na you add additional ideas to this new information? Meaning, if we already have this new information nga kung gihatag sa inyo ha, tapos sa elaboration ng imuhang way of improving your memory, then you will search further information regarding this topic that we have discussed. No? For example, rehearsals, you keep on repeating and repeating the information that you just have received. So again, it depends upon the strategy na mo work best sa inyo, ha? Okay. So this is the kaning visual representation on the process, information processing theory. So again, you have their sensory input, diba? These are the different stimuli that will ma-receive nato. And again, dili siya mo diretso sa short term because maagi pa siya sa first hurdle, diba? Katong sensory register. Okay? Pero para makalusot siya, mo nang naatay attention, as you can see there. Because only those information that catches our attention, our interest, ang makaproceed sa short term. Okay? Because if dili siya makalusot sa attention, then it will be left unattended, which will turn information to loss or mawala siya. Next is we'll have, if ever this information is makalusot siya sa attention, then mga na siya sa short-term memory na siya. So para at least always na to siya ma-remember or di na to siya makalimtan, again, that's the role of maintaining rehearsal. We keep on repeating the information. Okay, next is you also have, if ever you cannot na-maintain mo ang rehearsal, then ma-encode na siya ngadto padulong sa long-term memory. So sa long-term memory, ang pinaka-ideal na storage because it's unlimited and in terms of the duration, permanent siya. However, even if it's permanent, do not think na some of this information will not be lost because there will always come a time na tungod sa kaduging nga na-store siya ngadto, we cannot be able to remember also it anymore. Okay? So muna siya nga, dili tanan nga mga information na ma-store po sa long-term memory, ma-retrieve po na to because some of the information will be lost over time. Yes, it's ideal, permanent siya, tapos in terms of the capacity, it's unlimited, pero some of the information, if di na nato siya ma-practice, di na to siya ma-retrieve, ma-keep on remember, sa mo nang makuan siya, mawala siya. Pero the good point is, if the information will be stored in long-term memory, then pwede na to siyang ma-retrieve, no? Pwede na to siyang makuha o balik when the time comes that we need that information. Okay, so that is the visual representation of this process, the information processing theory. Now, do you have any questions? If you like question, then give me thumbs up for us to be able to proceed. Okay, thank you so much. So now let's proceed to connectionism or learning through stimulus and response. So connectionism, more about how we build connection through our stimulus and response. Okay? So, diri na to mahimbawaan ang mga different laws of learning that is being created by Edward Thorndike. But before we proceed to that, do you know the stimulus and response or S&R? I know that you are familiar with Ivan Pavlov, right? Maybe thumbs up if you are familiar with Ivan Pavlov. Diba katong iyang experiment with the dog, tapos with association of the bell, na first nang gibuhat ni Ivan Pavlov is nagbuta siya pagkaon, tapos na siya dog, and then mag-ring siya of bell. Diba? Natin mga response, mga stimulus, and all. So, but kasi it's important that we must have those kind of background information is because dili man good si Pavlov ang first stimulus and response. It's Edward Thorndike. So who is this Edward Thorndike? So yung tinuod na pangalan or complete name is Edward Lee Thorndike, which is considered to be the father of modern educational psychology because of his scientific evidence-based approach in understanding, diba, in connecting stimulus and response. So he is best known for his famous puzzle box experiments with cat, which led to the development of the law of effect. So if si Pavlov na siya experiment with the dogs, si Edward Thorndike na siya experiment with puzzle box with cats. So this is And because of that experiment, it led to his um, educational theory of connectionism, which is learning is the formation of association or bond between stimulus and response, which is can be strengthened by rewards and practice. So as you can see, kaning connectionism ni Edward Lee Thorndike, it draws similarity from Ivan Pavlov and V.F. Skinner's theory. Kaya ang kang Pavlov is classical conditioning, and then ang kang V.F. Skinner is operant conditioning, di ba? Using rewards and punishment. So, para another idea on how does these um, kaning experiment works. So we have here an illustration. So as you can see, na may box diha, then gibutang um, ni Thorndike ang cat sulod sa box. Now this box is not an ordinary box because it's a puzzle box. Meaning, the cat has to trigger something para ma-open niya ang door para makaon niya ang cat food. So asa man dira ang stimulus? The stimulus there is the cat food. No, so unsa man ang response? So di ba? Kita every time makakita tag food, unsa man nato ang response? Di ba? Ganahan nato kanon ang food. Lain man sad og kanang kanon, di ba? Ilaban. So mo na siya na for the cat, the stimulus is the food, and then the response sa cat is for the cat to be able to eat the the food. However, since naman siya sulod sa box, 'di ba? Naay something nga naka-interfere para makuha niya ang response to eat the food. Okay, so with that kanang experiment, nga to na learn ni Thorndike ang connectionism or ang association if murag natay buhaton na something sa stimulus and the response. Okay, so para clear sa ato, I have here a video showing how did Edward Lee Thorndike did the experiment. Okay, so as you can see there, na siya cat siyang hand na po siya puzzle box. Iya ibutang ang cat sa puzzle box wherein it's not just a tip na and any kinds of boxes because again the cat has to trigger something, okay, to be able to open the door and katong respond to the stimulus of eating the food. Now, first ang mabuhat sa cat is he will try a lot of things, diba? Because wala pa masya kaibaw if unsa yung dapat buhaton, diba? So, ang iyang first gipambuhat, the cat may meow, may waggle his tail, may scratch, diba? Until na incidentally or by any chance or by chance, murag naa siya ma-trigger na something na maka-open sa door. So as you can see, that's the trigger, diba? That is accidentally lang, by chance lang. Okay, and now, since na-open na siya, then the cat will now eat the food, which is the stimulus. Now, kung sa mga gibuhat ni Thorndike, iyahan na po gibalik. No? So, iyahang gi-repeat on repeat ang process na maghatag siya food, isod niya ang cat, magawas ang cat, tapos balik na po niya. So, sa man ang implication, ana, na he learned from that experiment nga as the process keep on repeating, mas less na ang time na marabag magunahon na si cat o kung sa buhaton. Okay, di ba? At first, siguro si cat would spend 30 minutes in trying to figure out how to go out from the puzzle box para ma-eat niya ang food. Pero as the process is keep on repeating, mas na-familiarize na ni cat ang trigger which allows the cat na ma-shorter time na niya nga ma-open ang door. So that is what we call connectionism by Edward Lee Thorndike. Okay? So, muna siya. And because of that, he was able to come up with the laws of learning. With the connectionism again, no, unsa ang bond na atong ma-associate sa stimulus and response. So because of that, we have these three laws of learning. First is you have law of effect. Okay, so kaning law of effect murag ang epekto sa imuhang gibuhat or usa man imuhang things na gibuhat para inani ang effect, because sa law of effect, if if the effect is rewarding, is positive, then mas strengthen ang imuhang stimulus and respond na bond. Tapos if the bond, if the reward is negative or punishment, mao na nga it weakens them. So for example, para mas ma-understand nato ano kaning law of effect o kaning connectionism theory. So for example, kanatong akong gibuhat sa inyo ha. I gave you a learning task, or for example, a quiz. Okay? So of course, if the stimulus is the quiz, so sa mo respond, magtuon ka. Okay? Or mag-study ka. Now, para maka-answer ka, or perhaps depende man, di ba, ang ato ang way of studying, naman tay pag-studying na kanang kuan lang na short nga study or napot extensive na pag-study. So na for example, you extensively study the topic or the lesson. Tapos ang reward ni mong nakuha is you've got a perfect score. Now since the reward is positive, then every time na ay nani nga stimulus, then your respond will be kato nang mag-study ka very hard kay para makuha na pud nimo again ang same na reward or same na effect. Okay? So muna siya ang itawag to na law of effect, or perhaps for example the other way around. You've na quiz, you study pero ay mga pag-study is 5 minutes lang tapos di pa jud kaayo ingon nga nice na pagka-study. So because of that, you've got a low score. Okay? So because of that low score nga imong nakuha, ang katong imong pag-study nga ng kanang murag study nga murag wala ka nag-study, di na to nimo siya puhaton og otro because of the effect that you get out of that because of doing that thing. So that's what we call law of effect. Okay? So when the reward is positive, or when there is a reward to something, then it will strengthen the stimulus and respond na bond. If negative, then it will weaken the stimulus and respond na bond. Are we clear on that one? Give me thumbs up. Okay, again, magdepende siya sa effect. The next, we also have law of exercise. Talk about law of exercise. We have to continually practice doing the thing for us to be able to strengthen the stimulus and respond na bond. For example, you wanted to play or you wanted to know how to play a guitar. So of course, para makaibaw ka na how to play a guitar, when the time comes na play ho na ka-guitar, then you must continuously practice. Diba? Muna kaning law of exercise, nangato ni siya na to ma-associate sa IPT in terms of maintaining rehearsal. Diba? Practice. Because diba, we have this idea that practice makes sa may sumpay ato.
Perfect.
Practice makes okay, diba? Perfect. Okay? However, there are some revisions. Remember, sa law of effect and law of exercise. Because sa law of effect, kaya yung matungad-tunga, it doesn't mean na positive ang nahitabo ang effect na we tend to keep on doing and doing that because dili man na ang case all the time, or perhaps if ever for example na negative ang effect na dili na to siya utruhon og kanang buhat because diba in life that is not the man jud kanang usual way of doing things, na it doesn't mean na mo ni ang sakto nga mo na pud imo balik-balikon og buhat, or sometimes even if you know nga diba nga kani nga imong buhaton will lead to a negative effect nga nung sometimes buhaton gihapon nato. So man siya na nay mga revision in terms of the two laws. sa mo to siya ang revision sa law of effect. Now sa law of exercise, ang ihapon revision is kanang dili po ta makaingon nga if sige lang kag practice and practice mo strengthen ang stimulus and response bonds, because sometimes people tend to stop doing the thing if wala silang makita nga improvement silang practice. Because di ba sometimes naaman dyan na nga cases na kasi kung saan na to practice and practice and practice, mga photo lang na to, mga tudlo, sige kanang kuan sa guitar, pero murag wala man gihapon improvement. So muna nga dili gud siya ingon gihapon na effective in strengthening the S and R bar. So that's the revision. Okay, then next, and the third law, we have law of readiness. So learners must be ready to respond, because if dili sila ready, then it will just cause frustration. So muna karon, muna nga before I conducted this online discussion, ano tanong jud ko ninyo, are you willing, diba, to have this online discussion? Because if you are not ready, then di pod ko mamugos, diba? So we will not going to have this video discussion, diba? Because according to the law of readiness, dapat ready ang student para open mind sila to listen to whatever are the things that you're going to discuss. So in terms of the application of it sa educational setting, you must understand, you must consider dapat that all of your students are ready. If for example, if naka-student diha nga gutom, nauhaw, so how do you think your students will respond to your discussion? Diba? So meaning, dili sila willing, dili sila ready na maminaw because they are still like feeling something sa lahang body. For example, they are sick. So meaning, they are not ready. Tapos if ever, immediate ipugos nga mag-discuss ka diha niya nga nasakit siya, so wala rin na gamit because dili siya ready to take all of this information nga imong ihatag sa iya. So that is law of readiness. Nakuha ang tulo ka laws? Give me a heart emoji if nakuha. Okay, so thank you so much. Okay, shall we proceed now? I think so. Okay, next we also have constructivism. So there's no need for us to discuss it further, no, because you already know that to talk about constructivism, this refers to learners creating their own knowledge or constructing their own knowledge based on their prior information or background knowledge. So this is also a support that learners are not empty vessels, no, which is believed kato ni John Locke na tabula rasa. No, diba? John Locke believed na students are empty cups and then teachers has the responsibility to fill those cups. However, for constructivism, they do not believe, they oppose that kind of ideology, no, because they believe that every student has already their prior information or background knowledge, and the teacher's role na lang is for the teachers to activate that prior knowledge in building new knowledge or in creating new knowledge. So, wala siya si constructivism. So, there are two views because again, we have different types or three types man god of constructivism. So, we have cognitive constructivism on Campbell J, na individual, wherein internal personal construction of knowledge based on our past experiences. Okay, mo ng cognitive na constructivism. Okay, and then sa social constructivism, which is kang Lev Vygotsky, he believed that knowledge is built through social interaction and shared understanding. So, meaning we learn, we construct our own knowledge, the use of interacting with different people. So here are the key characteristics of constructivism. So again, based ato ang giingon ganina, learners construct their own understanding, again, using their background information, their prior information, prior knowledge, or from their past experiences. And second na characteristic, new learning builds on current understanding or prior knowledge. So, in terms sa important o sa mga pinaka-important ng elements sa constructivism, dapat na ay prior knowledge ang mga bata. Because if magamit ka constructivism na wala pa'y experience ang mga students with that, for example, that topic, then dili effective ang constructivism na theory sa pag-apply sa imong teaching and learning process. Because again, new learning builds on current understanding or prior knowledge. Because if wala sila prior knowledge, then how will they be able to create new knowledge? Okay? And the next is katukang Libby Goat skill. Learning is facilitated by social interaction. Because whether we like it or not, sometimes we cannot just learn some things on our own. Diba? It's better murag naman jud tay ma-learn pod with other people, with our interaction with other people. Okay, and another is learning occurs through authentic real-world tasks. So, para ma-measure nimo if nabay na-learn ang bata, so you set aside traditional type of assessment, but you focus on the authentic or real-world na mga tasks. Para makita jud nimo if naabay na-learn ang bata, there has been some changes. No, ma-apply ba niya kay since diba ingon man to na prior knowledge, tapos creating new information. So how can we be able to measure that kind of learning if dito magamit ng authentic or real world na mga task, di ba? So for example, you're going to let your students apply what they have learned today to in relation to their kanang background or mga prior knowledge, di ba? For example, you're going to ask your student, so how can you help in mitigating flood in your locality? So since for example, na nasa prior experience sa baha, then with your new information na nag-discuss ka about flood, how to mitigate flood, how to address flood, then pilit nilang i-connect ang ilang new information with their past experiences, and then for you to be able to check if they have learned mo nang mangutana ka sa ila og mga authentic or real world or imo silang tagaan of mga real world na mga task. Okay, so that is the key characteristics of constructivism. Sige. Now, in terms of constructivism, since we construct knowledge, so we have here some concerns on how do we usually organize what we know. So we have here 3 ways on organizing what we know. So first, you have their concepts. Okay, so talk about concept. This is an information na atong i-group, based on their similarity in terms of their kanang features pa kaha, di ba? We categorize them based on mga similarity. Now, in terms of concept, na ito'y tulo ka buok if you are listening to the discussion, tapos you are also reading the module. We have their defining feature, we have their prototype, and then lastly, I forgot the last, pero yan, na siya yung mga 3 types of how we organize concepts. So first, you have there, based on defining features. Basta mag-conceptualize ta o mag-information, tapos na tan-awon nato ang defining feature, marog mangita ta sa feature sa usa ka butang para ma-conceptualize nato ni siya nga member ani nga mga different categories. For example, nakakita ka og shape nga naitulo ka side. So asa man nimo siya, so that 3 side is the defining feature. So asa man nimo siya makategorize nga shape. Sige daw, give me some answers sa chat box. Asa man nimo siya makategorize na shape if makakita ka defining feature nga naa siya tulo ka side.
Triangle, sir.
Okay, so very good. So that's what we call defining features. Mangita ka again o characteristic or features o sa kabutang or tao para ma-associate nimo siya ngayon ani siya or ma-conceptualize nimo ngayon ani siya under siya ani nga concept. Okay, for example, nakainailhan na adult na male na single. So probably if inana ang defining feature, you can conceptualize, makategorize nimo siya nga probably tawag niya bachelor. We also have prototype. So kani si prototype is kaning what comes first to your mind when you are thinking about something. Diba? For example, think of a cat. Diba? Usually, basta mo think of a cat, atong prototype na atong ma-conceptualize sa prototype is ka ng cat na simple nga cat. Diba? Tapos, uli na nato na ma-concept, ma-think ang mga different types of cats. Or perhaps, for example, let's say dog. Walang tayo na iba na ilahan nga mga breed sa cat. Okay, paint a picture in your mind about a dog. Diba? Usually, ang prototype nato sa mga dog are kanang mga aspin. Diba? Ano siya, dog nga naipako ako, sir. Oy, dog nga naipako ang imuhang na prototype. So, and then, for example, yeah, that's the prototype, diba, ka ng mga aspin. And then, oh my God. And then, later na nato na ma-think ang mga different breeds of dogs, diba? Chihuahua, Pug, Golden Retriever, Siberian Husky, diba? So, ang katong prototype mo to siya ang first na to ma-conceptualize when we are we are thinking of something, diba? So next, that is for the concept. Now we have schemas. So schema, I think you already know naman what schema. This refers to the organized body of knowledge or the prior information. Okay, so of course, we organize what we know based on our previous na mga schemas or previous na mga information. And then we also have script. Kaning script is on siya, sequence of the event. Or marabag, you are thinking on what will happen if you are going to do this. Because that's how we organize what we know. Diba? Sometimes if you are being kanang nata sa usa ka situation, marabag atong na sa may kay pwedeng mahitabo even ani. So that's what we call script. For example, kanang usahay di ba magtutod ta o musod sa faculty office kay unsa kay mohang sa kay mahitabo. So man nga murag na kay ma-mentally picture na mga sequence na mahitabo. So siya yung unang buhaton. Mutok-tok, musod, mo greet, then mukuan sa imuhang kanang toyo, tapos you as murag mag-expect po mga response. So that's what we call script. Okay, so event sequence. Okay, do you have any questions or clarifications regarding this one? Ay, malapit na matapos ang iyong Easy Surf Go 5G. O sige, para di pa siya matapos, mahumanata atong siyang umanon. Last na lang ni siyang metacognition or thinking about thinking. Sige, so no need for us to be able to discuss this one like very thoroughly because we discussed naman about what is metacognition. So definition ng niya is thinking about thinking or learning. How do we usually learn? So para ma-understand nato kinsa ang proponent ani, so this is coined by John Flavel. So balik-balik ka nga John Flavel, maintain rehearsal. Okay, para always na ninyo siyang ma-remember na talk about metacognition. It is being created or conceptualized by John Flavel. So it involves knowledge and control over one's cognitive process. Sige. So in terms of metacognitive variables, murag natay different types of variables in terms of metacognition. Murag natay tulo ka mga tan-awon para maka-understand ta how we learn or maka-reflect sa ato self unsa ko mag-learn. So first is person variable. This is the knowledge about yourself as a learner. Pero pag kibaw kasi mo kagalingon kung sa mga type of learner. Are you a fast learner? Are you a somehow tunga-tunga or perhaps you consider yourself as a slow learner? So that's what we call person variable. Understanding yourself as what type of person you are based on the different roles that you usually play. Because if you are a learner, then what type of learner you are? If you are a friend, what type of friend you are? So that's what we call a person variable, meaning focus siya sa person. Next is task variable, knowledge about the task. So, you are aware sa unsa man ang nature sa task na gihatag sa inyo ha, and then you will be able to understand on how to attack the task, no? So for example, the task that is given to you is you're going to read a whole research paper. So of course, since mo nang task, you makaibaw ka hala, if nani ang task, pila ka na amount of time ako ang pwedeng i-Google. Ay, not i-Google nga, mag-Google ka, but yung mga bang i-spend, Googling, o kana siya, i-Google para ma-finish nimo ang task. Okay, because that's important ka, aside na, kay bawo ka what type of learner you are, you also understand the task. Diba? At nga, gihatag sa imuha. And then, after learning the task, you now understand what are the different strategy that works best for you. Mana siya nga dapat, sa metacognition, you're not just aware of yourself, but you are also aware of the different strategies that you can use para when the time comes na different ang task na nature, murag napod kay another strategy na pwede nimong gamiton in attacking or in answering the task using different strategies. Okay, so those again are the three variables. We have person variable that is focused on yourself, reflecting on yourself. Then task is reflecting on the nature of the task. And then strategy, knowing the different strategies that works best for you. Okay. So in terms of teaching students how to learn, so we have here two ways or two methods. So we have here for younger student and for older student. So if you are a younger student, then perhaps you may be able to apply TQLR. So something TQLR, tune in, question, listen, or remember. So this is good for younger students, especially sa mga elementary students in teaching them lessons. So sa maning tune in, this is the first process. You let them, you make sure that they are ready to learn. Okay, meaning their attention is all in you. That's what we call tune in. And after making sure that that their attention is already in you, you now let them ask question, or perhaps you give them question that has something to do with the lesson. Meaning, wala pa kang mag-discuss, pero maghatag ka in advance of question. Kasi may purpose, ana, para, well, they are going to proceed to the next process, which is listening, naa sila'y ma-anticipate, murabag naa sila'y rason, nga nung maminaw sila. Because naaman kay question nga gihatag in advance na mo ilang ansiran. Para ma-answer nila ang question, dapat maminaw sila. So, dan mo na nga, ang sunod na process after giving or asking question is listening. So, mag-discuss na ka and then your student will listen. So now, usang nang ilahang primary reason na mag-listen sila for them to be able to answer the question that you have given them in advance. Okay, and then after listening, nato na ang remembering. You're going to let your student marabag through questioning if ma-remember pa ba nila ang imuhang i-discuss. So that's what we call TQLR. Tune in, question, listen, and remember. Okay, so do you think it works best for you as mga younger students? Give a heart, if ever. Siguro pag elementary man siya, oo. Pero siguro, okay, mga younger pa man kaha mo, sige, it works best for you. Next is older students. So perhaps kamo pud mga older naman pud mo, no? Kaya ba naman ganito matupag sa mga ginikanan? Oo. So mo na nga older na mo. Ay wow, di matubag si Alaw. Kabuutan mo eh. Sige. Next, we have, for older student, we have what we call PQ4R. So, maning PQ4R? So, as you can see, 4R because pat man nakabok R ang nasa process. Read, recite, review, and reflect. So, sa preview, this is more of, for older student kasi, they are tend to, to be considered as expert learners. So, for example, you are given the task to understand a research paper. So, kanang preview is pasahon sa nimo ang abstract or ang overall chapter. Okay? Marabag ka ng summary. Kumbaga, summary, preview. From the word preview. Diba? Before ni mo tan-awon in detail, mo nang tan-aw ka sa summary or sa abstract. Now, after doing that, same with the TQLR, you ask question based on what you have read sa preview or sa synopsis or sa abstract. And after now having constructed question, you will now read each and every part. Okay, and then after that one, you recite. So, maning recite, imo nang ansiran ang mga questions nga imo hang nahimo while you were reading the preview. Okay? Now, after answering the question, there will always come a time naman talaga na dili jud nato tanan ng mga concepts ato ang ma-learn. Muna na ata gitawag na review. We go back to those tasks or to those mga concepts na wala maklaro sa ato. So that's review. And then afterwards, you reflect. No? You reflect on yourself. What are the purposes of this learning to me? How can I be able to make use of this learning? So, mga inanak. So, that is for older students. Because for younger students, they are seen kasi as novice learner, meaning beginning learner. For older students, they are expected to be already mature enough in handling learning. Okay, next is we have novice versus expert learners. So if ever you have there the module, the na comparison table dera sa pag-differentiate sa mga novice o expert learners. So si novice learner, they often learn information passively, and then they do not monitor the understanding when in attacking, in answering questions or in answering problems. Ang ilang atake is ilaha yung main goal, basta novice learner pa ha, kanang focus sila in answering, in addressing the question or the problem dayon without even analyzing the problem first, no? And then in terms of mga novice learner, the strategy that they use is murag usa lang in all task, no? For example, if novice learner pa ka, 'di ba? If di pa ka expert learner, when you are studying different subject, perhaps you will just use one strategy, which is memorizing. But perhaps we are all guilty of this, that muagi man jud na siya pagka novice learner na, before siya mahimong expert learner, wala man jud siguro mahimong expert learner dayon. Even if like bata pa. So we all develop to expert learners, and we all start from novice learner. And then we are all guilty of these different characteristics of novice learner na perhaps we use one strategy for all tasks, and we are guilty of addressing the problem directly without even understanding the problem itself. Okay? So, if imo po siya i-compare sa mga expert learners na which I expect na amo, na you will be active and you will be strategic, ano, na in terms of addressing problems, you understand first what is the problem para matagaan nato siya og appropriate na solution. And then in terms of kanang kuan, planning, so you plan, no, and you monitor your own learning, and you reflect, no, what are the things that are needed more for you to be able to learn, and if there's a need for you to adapt new strategy, then you adapt, because that is what expert learners do. Okay, so muna siya in terms of the metacognition. Okay, since metacognition, again, diba, thinking about thinking, so then perhaps you can also identify within yourself if you are still a novice or expert, if you are still novice, or perhaps you are already kaning developing into expert learner.